Good morning, class. My name is Miss Bobbitt, and I will be your 4th grade science teacher this year. Today, our lesson is about the different phases of the moon and the order in which they appear. This will cover standard S4E2, element B. Now, this means Science, Grade 4, Earth Science, Standard 2, Element B. And it states, students will model the position and motion of the Earth in the solar system and will explain the role of relative position and motion in determining sequence of the phases of the moon. And element B, explain the sequence of the phases of the moon. This chapter's vocabulary quiz will be on Friday, so I suggest that you copy down these vocabulary terms and look them up. Now, remember, I don't mind how you choose to learn them, whether it be by flashcards, note cards, or just a good old look up in the dictionary and reviewing them from notebook paper. But you have to turn in whatever note you use to learn the vocabulary when you take your quiz on Friday. If you do not turn them in with your quiz, you will fail your quiz. A few of the tricky vocabulary terms for this lesson are the waxing crescent, the waxing gibbous, the waning crescent, and the waning gibbous. The first stage that we're going to look at today is the new moon. As you can see in the picture that I have shown you as a visual, the yellow part is the sun, the earth is the little blue ball in the middle, and the circle that is between it that is white, is the moon positions. Now each position is different, and that's what we're going to talk about. Well, with the new moon, it is where the moon is positioned in between the sun and the earth. And because of this, the sun is not reflecting any light on the moon. So you can't see the moon at all during this phase. Or if you can, it's very, very dim. It's not the bright, brilliant light that you would think of when you look up at the moon. Now, the second stage we're going to look at is the waxing crescent. Now, in the phases of the moon, waxing means to build, and crescent means less than half. So, just by the definition of the name, waxing, to build up to less than 1/2. So, in other words, the only part of the moon that you can see in the waxing crescent phase is the sunlit portion of the moon is increasing, but it's still less than half. So all you're going to see is this little sliver of the moon. Now the third stage we're going to look at is the first quarter. This is also known as a half moon. Now, this is the first half moon you will see in the phases. It's half of the moon is lit and half of the moon is dark. So, the sun's reflecting on half of the moon, letting us see it on Earth. The other half of the moon is completely in the dark, though. So, aka half moon. The next stage we're going to look at is the waxing gibbous. This is where the sunlit portion of the moon is still increasing, so it's still gaining more of the moon, to where we can see more of the moon, but it is also more than half. So instead of like the crescent where it's this little bitty sliv, it's almost all of the moon. So about 3/4 of the moon is what you can see. Like if it's a pie, you can see all but the little sliver at the end. The next phase is the full moon. Now this means that the entire moon is lit, and the shadow portion is completely hidden. You can't see any of the shadow at all anymore. And during the full moon, this is when all the superstitious animals come to life like the werewolves and that sort of thing. I thought that was a cute little tidbit. And you know, Halloween this week, it's a full moon. After the full moon comes the waning gibbous. Now this, just like the waxing gibbous before, gives its stage in the name. The waning means to lose, and the gibbous means more than a half. So you can look at the size and you can see that it's losing, but it's still got more than half of the moon. After waning gibbous comes the third quarter. Now this is another half moon, but it's the reverse half this time. It's where the back half of the moon is lit and the front end of the moon is dark. Now, the last stage we're going to talk about is the waning crescent. Now, remember, when we're introducing waning before, it means to lose. So, in other words, the moon has lost almost all of its light portion that you can see. So, all that's left is the little crescent on the outer rim. This table shows the lunar cycle. It goes from the new moon at the first day of the cycle to the waning crescent at the last day of the cycle, which is around the 29th day. It just shows like the amount each part of the moon has at that day and the day in the cycle that it's at. So, this is a YouTube video that I thought was very cute, and I hope y'all enjoy it.